Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Alex's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm your host, Alyx, just Alyx. Dynamite really created a lot of good buzz tonight. Give them credit. I thought the show overall came off very strong. Chicago, always a great city to have for wrestling, period. Didn't sell out the Wintrust arena, I believe. Doesn't matter. 5,000 sounded like 10,000. Unlike the crowd they had on Sunday at Forbidden Door, which was like 11,000, it sounded like 2,000. I would rather have this crowd. So consider that a plus for Chicago. Let's just get into it. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to give you a full review of Dynamite. I'm just going to go off of what I'm feeling right now. Let's start with that heel turn. MJF. So the main event was Will Ospreay taking on Daniel Garcia. They spent a full month, probably just a little bit more, building up Daniel Garcia as a legit player. You had him collecting wins on Dynamite, on Collision, I think Rampage too. You had Will Ospreay, MJF, and others watching his matches. Main event players putting all of this attention on Daniel Garcia. They literally spent hours, weeks, telling you that Daniel Garcia is a future main event player. Great, as they should, because he is. They get to this match where Daniel tells the world, I have to beat Will Ospreay. I need to beat Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is coming off of a loss to Swerve Strickland. He has MJF in his corner. And of course, the Don Callis family tells him, hey, we want nothing to do with you, but you will owe us a favor. So they're setting up a ton of ways for Will to lose that title, protect him, give Daniel that big win, and then send Will Ospreay off into a feud with MJF. And I thought that's what we were going to do tonight. Daniel beats Will Ospreay, maybe by interference from MJF. MJF then sets up his match with Will Ospreay for All In. And let's be real, that match does not need a title. It's getting a title, but it doesn't need to be for a championship. That's not what they did. They had Will Ospreay beat Daniel Garcia. Yes, with MJF distracting Daniel. He gave Daniel the Dynamite ring, and Daniel said, I'm not going to use that. I don't want to win that way. And that allowed Will Ospreay, who was not at 100%, to hit the hidden blade and pin Daniel Garcia. Initially, it pissed me off. Initially, I was pissed. I know you did not give him all this build just to have him lose anyways. This is exactly why AEW is in the shape that it's in, right? That was my initial reaction. You tell us that these guys are great, but they can't get the job done when it calls for it, so you don't create stars. Who cares about Daniel Garcia? He keeps losing. When it's necessary for him to win to become a star. Yes, he's 25 years old. It doesn't matter how old he is. If he loses all the time, people will stop caring about him. That's how it works. But then, something happened. MJF gets inside the ring after inadvertently costing him the match. And then he low blows Daniel. And then he completely snaps and beats the piss out of Daniel. Completely busts him open. He starts bleeding. Does a top rope tombstone. Devastating. The same crowd that absolutely loved MJF for 2 years is now booing him because of this moment. Very effectively. Will Ospreay comes out to make the save. MJF runs away. Now apparently a heel again. Here's why I'm torn about that. First off, let's just be clear. This needed to happen. I'm sorry. Even I enjoy MJF as a TV character. A lot of people love MJF for the right reasons. Can we be honest? He's not the best babyface worker. I got bored with him as a babyface around, honestly, Grand Slam last year when he fought Samoa Joe for the title. I was over him being a babyface. The only reason why it worked was because of his tag team with Adam Cole. Those guys were so lovable, very natural babyface characters. Such a natural tag team for fans to like. And the story was calling for one of them to turn on each other anyways, which is why you got invested. And so when they went with Adam Cole and not MJF, even I remember saying, okay, this is fine for now, but only if this leads to MJF going back to being a heel once this feud is done with. Because in the confines of his feud with Adam Cole, MJF is a natural babyface. Outside of that feud, it's really hard to justify him not being a heel. Yes, the fans love him, okay? But in terms of a TV character, in terms of storylines, in terms of getting people invested in your product, he doesn't fit. Can he work as a babyface? Sure, but is it as effective and interesting as him being a heel? The honest answer is no. He is meant to be a heel, a scumbag heel. The fans can love him as a heel, that's fine. But the reality of the situation is, the guy is just meant to be a hateable villain. So, I appreciate that they saw that, and I love the fact that they went ahead and just made him a heel again. Does that throw a lot of things out of whack? Yes. I have no idea what they're going to do with Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom now. That just seems completely pointless. They completely killed that. Just get rid of it. Get rid of it. I don't know what Adam Cole's going to do when he comes back. What, you going to turn him face? Not after what he did. And I can't see them becoming a tag team again, so I don't know what this does for Adam Cole, and I'm not going to think about it because it just pisses me off. So, that throws that out of the door. Daniel Garcia just lost again, so his momentum is back to being zero. But I will say, this beatdown does create room or an opening for him to come back and reignite a feud with MJF. If he's going to be taken off TV to sell this injury, you can rebuild him, make him more serious, and then bring him back to fight MJF down the line. Because I did see that his contract was expiring. Maybe he's already resigned. Because I thought they were going to have him win the championship tonight, which would have clued us in that he resigned. I don't see him going nowhere. I wouldn't think he would leave to go to WWE. Not right now. So we'll see. I'm not going to get too angry about it. I don't like that he didn't win the title tonight, but long term, you can salvage this. Just have Daniel Garcia sell the beatdown and come back to take on a heel MJF. I do have one last thing I want to talk about when it comes to MJF and apparently this feud with Will Ospreay leading into All In. I think it is the right match to do. I am excited for this match. I think that is a sheer-fire main event for that show. It could have been the main event for the show. If they really, really wanted to, you could close with MJF versus Will Ospreay. They won't, and they shouldn't. But yeah, I would 100% expect that to be one of the featured matches on that show. We have to really consider the fact that MJF is still beloved. Yeah, he turned heel, but are you really going to turn the fans on MJF when he just got back? He just got back. Like weeks ago. It's not like he's been back. He just got back. I don't know if the fans are ready to boo him yet. He might have to do a few more things that get fans to hate him. Because he's very easy to hate. So that might not be a problem. I just have to wonder if we're making the right decision here, turning him heel. Especially since Will Ospreay is going to be that guy he's facing. So you could end up turning fans on Will Ospreay. We'll see. There's a lot of things here that could go wrong. But they have plenty of time to tell a story. And that's where I get worried. Their storytelling has been off for years now. If they can make this work, all power to them. The match itself is going to be fantastic. I'm not worried about the match. I'm worried about the build and the story to it. So, let's hope whatever they have lined up for MJF as a heel, and of course Will Ospreay being the babyface, whatever they have lined up it actually works out for them. So we'll see where that goes. Let's talk about another match that I'm excited for, which should be the main event. Hangman Page returned to take on Jeff Jarrett as the wild card pick for the Elite. I figured that was going to be the case. As soon as the Elite announced they were picking the wild card, I said Hangman Page. That's the guy coming back. That's who it was. He gave Jeff Jarrett some hope spots, which I appreciate because Jeff Jarrett deserved something after that fantastic, amazing promo he cut on, well, it was on Collision. It was aired on Collision, but the full interview is on YouTube. Perfect. Emotional. He earned something, but he was never going to win. And I'm sorry to everybody that came out talking about how Jeff Jarrett needed to win. I'm so happy that Tony Khan did not make a knee-jerk reaction to have Jeff Jarrett go to the finals. That would have not done them any good. I'm sorry. He is not that guy. The right decision was to establish a heel by having him beat Jeff Jarrett after that emotional promo, which is what they did perfectly with Hangman Page. Love that he came back with new theme music, new get-up, very dark, and he's a total heel. He doesn't like the Elite, but he's a total heel. If this is his direction, 100% he needs to fight Swerve at All In. And that should be your main event. And I'll keep saying it. If they do this match again, it can't just be a regular singles match. There has to be some kind of a violent, hardcore stipulation to it. Whether it's 3 stages of hell, Hell in the Cell, you can't call it Hell in the Cell, Steel Cage, what, Last Man Standing? Something. It can't just be an average one-on-one match. You can't do it. After that Texas Death Match in November, this feud is way too dark, way too bloody for it to just be a regular match. But if it's going to be the main event, I'm all for it. It might be the only long-term feud you have right now that feels like a legit main event. So yes, 100%, Hangman Page needs to win the entire tournament. He should beat Bryan Danielson in the finals. I don't know who Bryan's going to fight at All In. Most likely Nigel McGuinness, because they've been hyping that up too, subtly. But we'll see. So Hangman Page is definitely going to win the tournament, as he should, and he should fight Swerve at All In. That's 2 matches for All In that we began tonight. The third one that I'm very excited for, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Mercedes Moné. Point blank, this is going to be awesome. Based off of their interaction tonight, they have great chemistry. You felt the heat between them when they were inside that ring. First off, let me talk about Britt Baker's promo. One thing I love about Britt Baker is that she's real. Who you see on TV is who she is. Yes, it's her character turned up to 100%, but it's done so naturally so that it's hard to argue she's playing a character. Some of the best personalities are those wrestlers who can take their real-life personality and turn it up to 100%. So when she was out there and she was talking about why she was gone, she talked about past, present, future. For the past, she talked about why she was gone and how her body shut down on her. Her right side of her body shut down and she had a mini stroke because she was dealing with a herniated disc, well, multiple herniated disc and a torn labrum. And her body just shut down on her, and so she had to take time off. That's scary. When you really think about it, that is scary because a mini stroke could do a lot of damage to you long term. So they gave her that, 6 months off? Maybe a little bit more. She's back. She looks great. She's healthy. And then she talks about how she returned at Forbidden Door. She was scared. She was terrified. She was scared that the fans would not remember her, which I thought was ridiculous. But I understand those nerves. It's the fear of rejection. Relatable. And then she got into the future. And then she went all in, no pun intended, on Mercedes Moné. And you saw Mercedes go out there. By the way, I love that they showed Mercedes with the Elite, the Young Bucks, the EVPs, which lets me know, okay, so they are going to turn her heel, which was my fear coming out of AEW Forbidden Door. I was worried that they were going to keep her as a babyface because I said it wasn't working. After what happened with Stephanie McCurr, I said, look here, I love Mercedes. It ain't working as a babyface. Just run with you being a heel. Accept that the fans are not going to like you. Fine. Make use of it. Play off of it. You're a better heel anyways. And so when she came out and the fans booed her and she played with it, she sold it. When they were chanting DMD, she looked at them with disgust. That just made everything so much better. This is where Mercedes is at her best. This is her green zone. This is where she thrives. And if we can keep her here while having her feud with Britt Baker and just have these two just rip each other to shreds on the microphone every single week, and then we're going to have a great feud. I thought their in-ring promo tonight was one of the best Dynamite segments they've done all year. Because it's two natural characters who naturally don't like each other. Plus, it's a first-time match. It's going to be big for All In, and you have 8 weeks to build to it. Man, this is going to be great. This is going to be one of those things that just naturally work. And I can't wait to see what they do with it. But again, it comes down to the storytelling week to week. You can have some of the best matches lined up for All In all day, every day. But fans are not going to care if you suck in the build-up, if you suck with the storytelling. So I'm hoping since Mercedes has creative control, she can find a way to make this work with Britt Baker in spite of the lack of storytelling we've been getting from AEW. And those three feuds are like the main things coming out of the show. Yes, we had other things. Apparently, Pac is now out of the tournament. I thought he had a great match with Bryan Danielson, but I had a feeling that Bryan was going to go to the finals. He had to. If this was going to be his swan song, if we're closing out his career around All In, let him go to the finals, let him lose, and apparently, whatever he's doing at All In is going to be a big match as well. I'm happy to see that Willow Nightingale is going to the finals. She beat Kris Statlander. I'm assuming she won't be winning the match next week because the natural match for All In is Toni Storm versus Mariah May. Looking forward to seeing where that goes. Although they could do Willow Nightingale and Toni Storm too. I'm cool with either match. I hope Willow has something lined up for All In. If it's not against Toni Storm, it will be against Kris Statlander. So that's another feud we could do. I'm trying to think about anything else that happened. They're setting up Blood and Guts. Apparently, and I'm seeing this right, apparently they don't have a team for AEW yet. I thought it was going to be Swerve, The Acclaimed, and then a fifth member. The way they're setting it up, they don't have anybody for Team AEW. They just had the Elite, and then their fifth is going to be, I'm assuming, Hangman Page. It'll probably be Swerve, The Acclaimed. That's Anthony Bowens, Billy Gunn, Max Caster, and then Mark Briscoe. Maybe they'll throw in some other people as well. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. I'm not really worried about that. That's to come. I'm more worried about what All In is shaping up to be. I'm trying to think of anything else. The Learning Tree, I completely skipped over that. I'm sorry. I love Chris Jericho, Hall of Famer. This Learning Tree gimmick ain't it. He was working on it for some time now. He's been trying to find different ways to put it over. This, hi guys! You know, that's something, but overall, it's bad TV. It's very cringy, and I just end up skipping over it. I don't care. I just don't think it's really worth anybody's time and attention. It's just one of those things where you watch it and you go, this ain't it. But it's Chris Jericho. He's going to get TV time, and no matter how cringy it is, he'll just turn it into heel heat anyways and write it off as the fans not liking him and him doing his job. So, whatever. They're doing this thing with Hook, Taz getting taken out of the arena, so it's a feud between Chris Jericho and Hook, I suppose. Whatever. We'll see where that goes. And I think that's it. That's essentially what we got tonight for Dynamite. Over time, with Collision, if there are more stories to tell, I'll come up here and do a video about that. But it feels like things are back on track with AEW. And I hope that that's not me just wanting the best and me jumping the gun. I really hope that they figured out what they want to do. And they've understood that to make people care about your product, you need stories and good storytelling. And if that's the case, we're in for a great ride. I think AEW is going to give us some of their best going into All In. They have to. As of right now, they have not sold out the building. I think by this point last year, they were at like 60,000, 70,000, right? They're at 40,000 for All In. So they better get their rear end in check. They better kick their shit in gear right now and get these stories going and sell out that building again. Because it would suck if they went back to All In and they did 40, 50, half of what they did last year. Sorry. That's not going to cut it. Y'all better get your shit in gear right now and start telling some stories again. And hopefully they get back that buzz they had 2 years ago. I would love to see that AEW come back. I see a lot of people thinking it's already back. I'm not too sure, but tonight was a good start. And so we'll see where things go in the near future. The plan is to go back to live reviews starting after SummerSlam. So there'll be more uploads for the rest of the month. But don't worry, we will be back to live streams when August comes around. Because I do want to get back into doing these shows live for AEW. But they got to warrant it. Shows like this will warrant it. And your long-term storytelling will also warrant me doing live streams again. But I have to feel like I'm not wasting my time. So give me your thoughts down below. How y'all feel about Dynamite? Do you feel like things are back on track? Let me know. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Do all the YouTube things. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and Venmo. I'll catch you guys next time right here in Alyx's world. The place that is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm out. Peace. When you're